Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the UAE and welcome to Expo 2020. Albert Einstein once described compound interest as the eighth wonder of the world, saying, "He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't understand it pays for it." Einstein was talking about finance, and compound interest means that your $10 invested at a 10% becomes $11. And when that $11 is reinvested, it then becomes $12.10. And that 12.10 reinvested becomes 13.21, and so on. And the magic is that the original $10 that was invested plus interest earned becomes the new baseline, the new principal. So more money is made over time. Endorphin dose, I know you might be thinking, why is she talking about finance and she's supposed to talk about youth? Well, youth empowerment and economic prosperity have a lot more in common than we might assume. And Einstein's very same law that I just explained can be applied to governments investing in young people. Why? Because prosperity depends on youth, and global prosperity depends on youth. And investing in young people leads to an unlimited compound interest and true prosperity. As we honor leaders that are transforming manufacturing, encouraging greater investment in capabilities, and driving global skills development at gyms and this Global Prosperity Conference, let me build on Einstein's theory and get straight to the point. Governments who understand the compound interest of youth earn big dividends, and governments who don't understand it pay for it. Youth empowerment is not mere virtue. It is not about filling a political void. Youth empowerment is just another word for achieving prosperity. And let me start with the basics. I want to start with a few definitions in the dictionary. The word prosper. Did you know that the word prosper literally means to go forward with hope? Prosper, one more time, means to go forward with hope. To be honest, this blew my mind. Prosperity does not mean having a ton of money or material things. Its opposite, unprosperous, isn't being poor per se, unless you're talking about being poor in spirit and having no hope. The opposite of prosperity is despair, which is the opposite of hope. And despair literally means when you are in despair, you have no hope and you stop going forward, which is not a winning combination. Therefore, we need compelling reasons to move forward with hope. The next important word in the dictionary, profit. Do you know what the word profit literally means? It means to make progress. And what that means, basically the opposite of profit etymologically means regress, to go backward. So what I absolutely love about these two words is the fact that profit follows prosperity in the dictionary. You go forward with hope, which is first prosperity, and then you make progress, which is profit. And when you think of these two words, forward and hope, what drives hope forward? It is young people. And we have the evidence. If you look at the data, if you just look at the Arab Youth Survey that came out a couple of weeks ago, it showed that Arab and young people in the MENA region are filled with hope and optimism. And it's the government's duties to take that hope and fuel it with action. Basically, young people, if you have a hope map, youth are your GPS. And if they despair, then we regress. If they hope, then we go forward and we move forward. If they prosper, we, all of us, humanity, will profit. Looking at the data, 1.8 billion people between the ages of 10 to 24. In the MENA region, it's 60% of our population. In the UAE, 50% of our population are under the age of 35. Data is clear. And the United Arab Emirates believes that the dividends of all aspects of our world hinge upon the investment in young people. So I think now you might know, okay, Shamma, you've established that investing in young people is the only way to prosperity, but what are we doing with that understanding? Let me tell you a bit about what the UAE has done. The UAE's model of investing in youth is a living case study in the path to real 21st century prosperity, and let me tell you how. We make young people the innovators and co-creators of our tomorrow because we understand prosperity depends on them. But we've spent the last 5 years transforming into a new government infrastructure that listens to young people, engages them in every aspect of government and society, and puts them on the table, not only as guests, but as co-authors. And we've made maverick investments in creating a new model to engage, empower, and fully invest in them. I'll give you 5 examples. 1, we listen to youth through our premier model called Youth Circles. It's basically a signature platform where you hear the voice and ideas, needs, and challenges of these young people in direct conversation with leadership. 2nd, we empower young people with programs and platforms that build their skills and leverages their creativity. And we have maverick, millions of initiatives that just are inspiring people around the world, from youth leadership programs to technology fellowships to youth business markets. The 3rd is we empower young people in policy. We have over 106 youth councils where young people engage in every national, regional, and global arena across government, including, for example, our Ministry of Climate Change and Environment, where young people have already established an Emirates Youth Climate Change strategy. 4th, we put young people at the table. We have policies that ensure youth are on every board of directors at every federal ministry, and that's a policy that has been passed by Cabinet. Finally, we measure youth empowerment, and we just released a youth empowerment index from Cabinet in September. What is that index? It helps organizations basically measure how do they empower young people and learn how to do it better. So in short, investment means strategic action. Governments must listen to youth. How? Well, 1, you need to develop new responses to the negative vacuums that old paths have created for young people, like violence, extremism, unemployment, inefficient education, and apathy. 2nd, governments need to be proactive in creating a positive new path, build new paths of real hope and change, and put young people in the driver's seat. So we established the what. Let me go to the how. And the formula is very simple. How do you invest in youth comes by listening to young people, because they tell us what programs and initiatives and policies they need to empower them. And I've mentioned several of our platforms, but they all fit under an innovative approach that we've taken our national youth strategy and de-siloed it from sport. Sport is important in young people's life, but youth are more than sports. And we engaged young people in every ministry in a comprehensive, cross-cutting application to youth in all sectors. And most importantly, putting them on the table and letting them lead. We're focusing not only on programming alone, but on a framework that targets the character, participation, and ecosystems that best support young people. Every platform we have and program supports young people's character, participation, and connection to an ecosystem of support that is an investment that yields return, and to continue to do it, grow it, and build upon it, and involve young people in that process. This is where there's growth, there's change, and there's prosperity. Truly a world wonder. And this is where investment becomes a verb, because after listening, action must be done. And prosperity starts with true listening that creates tangible support. When youth are empowered, nations are empowered. And when youth prosper, nations prosper. And when youth profit, nations profit. And to Hellenic travelers who selected them, the geographic 7 wonders of the ancient world were not merely geographic shapes. They were places that, according to the National Geographic, tell stories of human imagination, technical aptitude, and how civilizations left their mark on the world and culture. Investing in youth will tell the story of what nations will truly prosper and those that don't. Today, I'd like to issue a challenge to you all to make a bold leap. Count how many seats at the table do you have in your organization where young people have seats with decision makers. Create at least 1 to 2 seats at each of these tables for youth to listen and offer a fresh perspective. Take action on at least 2 to 3 of their ideas. Empower them to lead and co-lead themselves. And share your findings with the Global Prosperity Conference. We're strong in our lessons learned together. And every investment in a young person is an investment. Every time we listen, every platform, every program every young person and every time. Because surely, if compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world, then dividends of investing in young people is truly the 9th. I hope we all join together in this, and I hope we all create it. Thank you very much.